Okay, now we're going to go over parachute drops and how they work. Certain units that have a yellow triangle on them, like this one here, the Spetsnaz unit, or other Special Forces type units, can be designated by your scenario as capable of entering by a parachute drop. When they are designated to enter the map, they will be placed onto the map within a certain distance of certain drop zone hexes that are noted within the scenario itself. Prior to the parachuting unit being actually deployed to the map, any HQs or support weapons will be assigned before you actually place it on the map. Now let's say for our example that this is our designated hex as a drop zone and the surrounding hexes can be the drop zone as well. When you're choosing where to place your parachuting infantry, there are some restrictions. They can't be placed in a hex where the terrain is blocking or rough, or in all water type hex. It also can't contain another parachuting unit. So if this was our drop zone located here, they wouldn't be able to be placed here or here, but they could be placed here behind the opposing forces. Now, just like we did when we were looking over artillery strikes and how they drift, paradrops can also potentially drift, and that's going to be handled through a set of D6 rolls. So let's say we placed our infantry here. We're going to roll a d6 on a result of a 1 to 3. They're going to land in this hex, and that's the end of it. On a 4 to 5, then they're potentially going to be drifting, and then you roll to see where they're going to drift. And on a 6, there's catastrophic drift, and they can drift a number of hexes away from where they originally intended. Looking at the 4 to 5 result, it's handled just like we spoke about previously with artillery, in the fact that you're going to roll the 1d6 to see which direction the unit's going to drift in, starting with north as 1. So if this is north here, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Also, it can potentially drift a second hex. So let's say our unit is rolled 1d6, a 2 is rolled, they drift to here. You will roll the d6 again to determine if they drift a second hex. On a result of a 4 to 6, they will drift a second hex, and you will handle it just like you did the first time by rolling 1d6 again, starting with north as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, if on your initial drift roll, it's a 6, that means they've drifted wildly, and it's going to be handled just like we were talking about with the result of a 4 to 5, with the exception that the distance is not just a single hex, but it's randomly determined by rolling a d6 and adding 1. So let's say that a 6 is rolled for this unit. You're going to roll 1d6 to determine the direction again, and then you'll roll 1d6 to determine how far they drift. So let's say for this unit, the direction is 3, so 1, 2, 3. They will be drifting in this direction, and we roll a 1d6 to determine how far. A 3 is rolled, you'll add 1 to that, and that will give us a total of 4 hexes that the unit has drifted away. So you count out 1, 2, 3, 4, and place the unit accordingly. Keep in mind when it comes to parachuting units, that they will be eliminated when they're landing if they land off the playable area. So if they're off map itself, they're eliminated. If they land in a hex containing enemy units, they're going to be eliminated. Or if they land in a hex containing blocking or rough terrain, they will be eliminated.